Hi, Warriors, TGIF. Probably getting tired of hearing from me every day this week. So I felt it was going to be an important week. There have been some interesting moves. I'll talk about the key reversals that I talked about before they happened yesterday with Mike on our stream. Also, last week I was pointing towards this week with it being the solstice, which is where NVDA topped on the solstice and the semis, and perhaps we're getting a little delayed top in the dollar index. So a lot of interesting things happened. The bond continuation of the bond rally, as expected, yields still look like they're going to fall precipitously to me. Nothing's changed on that course, and real interesting action in the precious metals. So I'm going to cover a lot of things today. I want to start off with the euro. You know, a lot of people I talk to, they don't want to touch the euro because of the snap elections coming up here. They're worried about Frexit if Le Pen comes in and she's radical. And I'm going to start off with the euro because this is an interesting teaching that I want you guys to get. So here we are testing last week's lows, and pretty much what we had, not pretty much, what we did have is what technicians call an inside week. Okay, so an inside week is neutral. It doesn't negate what happened the week before, but as you can see, we're just barely holding the lows from last week. So going into next week, what am I looking for that would be bullish for the euro? What would be bullish would be for it to take out this week's lows, which is 671, only 18 pips from here, and then start taking out this week's highs, which was 760, and end up with an outside week to the upside. And that should get things going back to the upside in euro. Also, next week, it's not going to take much for us to have a 2 week reversal to the upside. All we need is 107.02 by next Friday to end this little decline that we've had here and begin the next move to the upside. Of course, I have my fail-safe stop at 106. Under 106, I think you're going to see 105 probably in a hurry. So next week, key. I also talked about being able to buy the pound at around 126.20. This is a little weaker than the inside week that I showed, but as long as we're holding this 126 level, I'm going to give the pound the benefit of the doubt that we're going to break out over this weekly candle. Now, what really is a standout is with the dollar being stiff, and it's, you know, not up a lot. Here's the dollar. But for the week, we're up 28 points, and it's not an inside week. So we're not that far from being able to go take out these stops over 650, but, you know, I'm not going to move my stops. You know, a lot of people say, well, you know, it's I don't want to get stopped out. And then they go, I'll watch it for a while. Well, that's a recipe for blowing out your account. If it stops me out, big deal. I'm short from 5.5. I'm down 28 points. You know, that's, you know, used to be 5 minutes worth of action in the dollar index. So if we take out 640, I'm out of the way, because then I think we're going to attack 107.40 and most likely headed up towards 108. So next week, pretty key. We'll need to get that outside week back to the upside in the euro. Again, the Aussie had a positive week, right? Look at that. Nice blue candle. Looks like it's flagging here. And that's why I'm so impressed with the commodity currencies that besides with the dollar being up for the week, so was Aussie, right? Not a ton, 580. Actually, where did we close last week? 615. We're up 40 pips on the week. And even though Canada's up a little bit today, they had some retail sales, I believe. Canada's posting a week lower we're much closer to breakdown. We actually got to where I thought the trap door would be here at 680, and it's trying to hold, but start closing under 680. We're a lot closer to Canada breaking down than we were just a few weeks ago after Canada eased. It's made no progress to the upside. Could not take out my stop at 38 and a half, so stop is still in the same place. We start taking out 680. I'll probably bring my stop down, might even add on. And you guys know I'm looking for 36 to be a very important level. And this actually closing under this would be another sell signal to set up 2.5 from here is going to give you 3.5. Okay, so that's going to be a pretty good break. This was 250, so 250 from here is, yeah, 330. And eventually, I think we're heading down to 132. So this is a campaign trade. I was wrong on the yen. It still keeps marching. Took out last week's highs. I'm not sure if we're going for this high. We're not that far away. If we do, there'll be divergence on the daily if we do. And this is really out of sync with what's happening in yields because yields continue to behave, right? There's your day. We're barely holding the support. Maybe I said maybe we get a bounce back to 430, but closes under 420 is going to set up 370. It's going to take out these lows. And the bonds, look at how they keep holding that 93 level like a champ. Okay, we're going to open up a little bit higher here today. So still bullish a bond market. I don't think we should take out 90. Any pullbacks happen, I'd still go with the long side of bonds. I think this is just embryonic, and there's at least these highs from the end of last year to be taken out. That's up around par. So still like the bond market. I want to talk about what happened in the stock market. And, I talked about the seasons changing. This is the earliest solstice in, I think, 250 years, and it's only a day earlier than usual. But I want to show you guys what the leader was semis, and that's a key reversal. Okay, so I'm not sure it's the top. You only know if something's the top after a lot of time has passed, but it could be at least a top. Here's an example of the last key reversal we had in semis, which set up the corrective move into April. And that wasn't bad. It was 20%. So we'll see what happens over the coming days. I think we're going to take a little breather here. Who knows? It could turn into something major. But we had this key reversal in the semis, and the Wall Street darling, NVDA, also had that type of action. It wasn't as classic because it didn't close under the prior low, but it's coming in about 3 lower. So key reversal on the solstice, on options expiration, which is something else I talked about. That's a very good opportunity for big funds. I heard that the options expiring is a record amount of dollar volume today. So you have that type of cover if you trade large, where you're not going to move the market on a trade, where you're going to move the bid or the offer, whether you're buying or selling. So I think this is significant. I don't know if it's the top for the year or we just get something like this, but classic key reversal. In fact, Mike and I were talking about it. NVIDIA was still higher on the day when I did the live stream with Mike yesterday. So key reversal there. They're doing some rotation right now. I also warned about Bitcoin this week. I said you have to be careful with Bitcoin. It looks like it's failing rally, and that is the way it looks to me. Here's the weekly. Pretty ugly week. I think we at least have this 53 level in Bitcoin. I noticed someone after I made that call thinks I'm going to be wrong on Bitcoin eventually, and eventually I'm going to be wrong on a lot of things. Okay, so I would say this is not a Friday close that I would go home long into. Maybe by Tuesday, you might want to play a turnaround Tuesday type of move. And, that's pretty much the board. Oh, WTI, which, I think is going to be supportive of the Canadian trade, is, you know, overbought. We're overbought, but what a great candle. So, you know, deflationists and recessionists are looking for 60. This could be a place that is a fib, but I would buy pullbacks here in crude, maybe back towards 78 or 76, because I think it's possible with the escalation in the Middle East that we get something like this. And I think that most uh, Western nations are going to have problems with electricity generation. They may have to start burning the oil to get that. VIX having a decent week, still only 2 drives. I'd like to see one more drive and buy some long-term VIX calls. And then let's wrap it with the metals. Pretty interesting day. Uh, no follow through. And a lot of people turned pretty bullish here in gold. I could see how they're looking for new highs here, but that to me might be a third drive, even though a lot of people are talking 26, 2700. We'll see. But silver, after it looked like it broke out of a bull flag, looks negative to me. So I think we could still be patient. I pointed out that even though uh, the metals have been rallying the last few days, that besides Newmont looks almost exactly like gold and looks good. But GDX, big deal. It bounced after a $4 decline. Maybe we are still going to pull back towards this 30 and a half. And if we get some type of liquidation break in the S&Ps, remember that miners are stocks. Okay. So, sometimes you have to sell what you have, not what you want to. If we get a decline, could pressure the miners regardless of what the physical market is doing. So I'm still going to be patient um, unless we start closing back over 35 in the GDX. And you know what? If you look at this, maybe what's developing here is a head and shoulders top. So you just do it from 33 to call it 37. That gives you 29. But this 200-day moving average is coming in real close to 61.8 of this whole advance. Down here, I back up the truck. So I hope that you've learned a few things, learned about inside weeks, key reversals, talked about correlations this week, because it's really not worth anything if all you're doing is taking trade calls and you don't understand them, because you have to be able to do this on your own. You don't want to become dependent on anyone or any particular, um, you know, analyst. You have to be your own boss, because you can't always count on other people being around. You have to learn to make your own decisions. So, how do you get good at making your own decisions? Make your own decisions. The more you do that, the more confident you become that you could do this on your own. Not that you ignore people's work you respect. I still do intelligence gathering through my interviews and different places. I share my work and work with other traders. So that's still an important part of what I do in my trading, is pay attention to people that I work with in a few different communities that I know have the ability to pull money out of the market. So that's going to be the end of my lecture today and trading calls. I hope that you learned a few things this week. I hope that you earned a little bit this week. And most of all, I hope that you don't just count your pips, but that you count your blessings and do your work over the weekend. These are my Friday impressions. I'll spend time on the charts this weekend to fine tune anything I said today, and we'll be back with you bright and early Monday to look at the week ahead. Adios, everyone. Have a great weekend. Recharge. See you Monday before that, and see you in the room before that. Adios.